All right, folks, this is Harris Sultan, the ex-Muslim atheist, and welcome to another episode of Sultan's House of Sin. Right. Now, there's a video that I want to show you, which is, again, that is so sad. It's so sad. It just makes me so angry but sad at the same time. There's only one physicist in the Muslim world, in the entire Muslim world. 1.8 billion Muslims. We have 1.8 billion people believe in Islam. Ha ha ha, it must be something true. Out of that 1.8 billion, just one scientist, just one. He won a Nobel Prize in physics. Just one out of 1.8 billion. Jews have, I don't know, hundreds out of less than 200 million people. And look at these Pakistani people at a school, at a science college. They are defacing that Nobel laureate physicist. Have a look. This is what happens, guys. This is also a lesson for even those Westerners, those Christians who don't respect science. If you let go of science and education, if you bring in creationism and other myths in the science classroom, you are eventually going to be like this. You will eventually lose your progress. So you want to believe in myths? Jesus walked on water or Muhammad flew to heaven on a donkey? Fine, go believe in it, but don't mess with freaking science. Have a look. This is what happens where science doesn't win and radicals win.
अच्छा जनाब, इस टाइम हम नेशनल साइंस कॉलेज जो है इसके बाहर खड़े हैं, जहाँ पे ये फ़ोटो लगी हुई है डॉक्टर अब्दुल सलाम की। तो माशाल्लाह डायरेक्टर साहब से बात हुई है, उन्होंने हमें इजाज़त दी है कि हम इसको जो है ना, इसका मुंह काला करके इसको जो है ना दिखाएं आवाम को कि ये चीज़ हमारे माशरे में पूरे पाकिस्तान में इंशाल्लाह नहीं चलेगी। ये सारे हमारे भाई खड़े हैं, हम लोग इसको
कादियानी कुत्ता है, कादियानी काफिर है, कादियानी कुत्ता है, काफिर है, काफिर।
Zindabad.
Sorry, I thought I had put subtitles on it. Basically, they were just saying that, this Ahmadi is a dog. Abdus Salam, Professor Abdus Salam, late Professor Abdus Salam, who was who played a pioneer role in discovering Higgs boson, also known as God's particle, mislabeled as God's particle. So some physicists now call it anti-God particle because it's been discovered now last year a couple of years ago at CERN, the Large Hadron Collider in Switzerland. Just one scientist out of 1.8 billion people. One freaking scientist, and this is what they're doing. They love their prophet so much that only one person who gave them something, they're defacing him just because he believed that Ahmadi Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani was also a prophet. Someone as brilliant as Professor Abdus Salam was also quite a radical Muslim. By radical, I mean dogmatic when it came to religion. He wasn't a violent person or anything of that sort. Ahmadis tend not to be anyway. But he said some really silly statements like, "Oh, I discovered Higgs boson by opening the Quran, by reading and understanding the Quran." Where is God's Higgs boson in the Quran? But these people just make these statements. That's one problem with certain type of Muslims as well, that if they get a little bit of education, they still try to smuggle their God in it. Whereas Western scientists, majority of them, they don't bring it. When they discover the Big Bang, they don't say, "Oh, by the way, it's written in the Bible. We had it figured out 2,000 years ago. Jesus told us." The majority of scientists don't do it. But the person who actually discovered Big Bang was a Hungarian monk, and he was actually a monk. And when it was celebrated by the church at the time, he got angry with the church. He said, "No, don't involve theology in science. This is science." And then obviously it was later confirmed by Sir Edwin Hubble. But that's what happens. If you let go of science, if you let dogma or religion run amok. These guys are aspiring science students, but they're so blinded by the love of their 7th century warlord that they would deface him. in the video he said that these guys are dogs, Ahmadis are dogs, and then on the other hand, amazing, they say, oh, please don't abuse Prophet Muhammad, please, but they are openly abusing Ahmadis and the Prophet and the founder of Ahmadism. They openly abuse them, but then they say, please don't hurt our feelings. What about their feelings? What about these 200, 300 million Ahmadis in the world? What about their feelings? No, nobody cares. So that's the hypocrisy of these people, and it just keeps happening. Not in the Western countries, though. Yeah, maybe by other Muslims. Other Westerners don't even know the difference between Ahmadis and Sunnis and Shias. They probably know about Sunnis and Shias now, but they don't know about a sect like Ahmadis. Oh, I forgot to finish the point with. So with that, Professor Abdus Salam, Pakistanis are crapping on him, and here's a street that's named after him, Route Abdus Salam, in Switzerland, and that's just the way it is. So shameful for Pakistan to actually, as I said, 1.8 billion Muslims, 1.5 whatever, just one Nobel physicist. They won't like it. To help me produce more videos like these, support me on Patreon or PayPal.